All right, here's the down and dirty on all three takedown systems. And I'll try to show you how they come apart, go back together, the good things, the bad things, and then I'm doing all these with no bolt carrier assemblies and not attached to a lower, just to demonstrate the fundamentals behind them. And then I'll I'll do each one on a lower, bolt carrier included, just like you would if you were assembling it and disassembling it in the field. So first ones, we're going to go least expensive to most expensive. DOLOS takedown system, LEO takedown system, and Cry Havoc takedown system. DOLOS system, we'll start with that one. Retails for about $190. I would say it is in my opinion, the least durable system. And it's got a couple things. It's very fast to take apart and put back together, but it's got a couple things that I think in the long run, if you're going to use it on a regular basis, would probably wear out. So to take down, essentially you just pull this release lever right here, and the whole barrel system pivots. So when you pull this and twist, the whole system comes out of the front of the gun. And so there's your index point, gas tube hole, and it's got a tri-lug locking system. It tensions off these very small teeth, which is what I believe is probably going to be its weak point. If you were to take this apart and put it back together a bunch of times, I think you're going to run into some return to zero issues, some tension issues. The other thing with this system is the barrel floats within the handguard system, which makes it very quick to assemble. But again, I'm worried about repeatability in the long term. In the short term, it did very well. There was no apparent loss of zero between shooting it, taking it apart, putting it back together, shooting it, taking it apart, putting it back together. I did it 3 times and did not notice a zero shift. Granted, this is a 7-inch AR, so we're not talking extreme accuracy to begin with. Use a standard gas tube, standard barrel. The limitation of this system is you must use Yankee Hill or same thread pattern size as Yankee Hill handguards. So you're restricted to really only 2 handguard options. Different lengths, but only one option as far as size. There is no anti-rotation built into this. I custom drilled the DOLOS takedown sleeve so that I could install the Yankee Hill anti-rotation. So now the handguard will not rotate, but there is nothing built into it to prevent rotation of the handguard. And since you're using a tension-only handguard that spins on, there's no tension nuts or anything. You do need to use some sort of anti-rotation if you expect the handguard rail to remain true to the upper receiver. So reassembly is very simple. You simply find the gas hole tube, drop the barrel assembly in until it locks in, rotate, you hear it ratchet, and now you're good to go. That's it. You got a very small amount of wiggle, but that's within the handguard system, not within the barrel bolt carrier lockup. So this one does require Loctite to assemble. The replacement nut is held in by Loctite. It does have 2 very small anti-rotation devices in it, but that's it. It's mainly held on with red Loctite. So taking it off is going to be interesting. If you ever have to take it off, you definitely have to apply heat. So the DOLOS system, not too bad. Very quick, like I said, to disassemble and reassemble, but it does have some limitations, but it is the least expensive one. $190. Okay, LEO takedown system, much more robust system. Also requires Loctite to put it together. Has bigger anti-rotation nuts. I'd be surprised if this one ever came loose. It has a locking system, so you can't retract the collar. You line up the lines with the adjustment nuts, pull straight back, and you can see it comes apart just that easy. It's got a pretty good system. It's got 4 detents machined into the barrel nut. or barrel sleeve, and then 4 stainless steel ball bearings that are held in tension when it's locked together, so that when it's locked up, it is snug. Uses standard gas tube. It uses a split washer tension system to tension the handguard extension nut to the receiver nut. We'll see in long term if that holds up. There is no, this system is not threaded into itself, as the LEO, or the DOLOS system is, where the handguard is physically threaded to the extension. This extension is tension fitted. I don't think that'll be a problem in the long run, but it's hard to tell. It uses a standard size barrel nut extension, so pretty much any handguard will fit this system. It does not have anti-rotation built in to the takedown system, so as on this one I had to machine the anti-rotation tabs off, so you do have to use a handguard that does not have anti-rotation tabs built into it, or machine them off. Assembly is very quick, same thing, you just index the gas tube, pull back on the collar, locks in, release the collar, twist it to lock it. Now the collar is locked, you cannot move it. It's very, very snug. It has to return to 0 because that's the only way the locking lugs will fit in. So there's very little chance, I would say almost no chance, that this is ever going to have a twisting issue within the receiver itself. Since there is no anti-rotation, you're limited only by tension on the handguard nut, but most of the tension type ones now have some sort of friction built in, so that's not going to be an issue. But you cannot use a handguard with anti-rotation tabs or ledges or whatever built into it without machining those off first. So this is also 7-inch barrel. Return to 0 was the same. I noticed no shift whatsoever. I actually shot 8 different bullet weights out of this in 5.56 just to see if there was a double test, to see if there's a point of impact shift, and to see, by shooting multiple bullet weights and multiple manufacturers through this barrel, if there was a noticeable change in 0, or if you could just throw whatever ammo in you want and your 0 is going to be pretty much good. And I found that 0 is pretty much good. Don't really worry about it at 7-inch ranges. So this is the LEO system. This one is $300 retail. Not bad. It's, like I said, it's a lot more robust. I have a lot more faith that this, over the long run, is going to last. Not quite twice as expensive, but almost. Additional, the other thing to mention on all 3 of these is all of these are designed so that the takedown system remains on the gun, on the upper, and then you can buy additional barrel extensions so that you can swap out different barrels, different calibers on the same upper, which is pretty cool. The DOLOS system does not list additionals on their website, so I'm not sure what the cost on just the back end portion is. The LEO does additional barrel extensions because it's essentially one piece, not very much machining involved. They're only $60, so for $60 additional to an existing barrel, you could have as many different barrel lengths and or 223 size, AR-15 size compatible cartridges that you'd want. So Cry Havoc 3rd system, by far the most robust, and of course the most expensive. This was actually adopted by the Air Force as their pilot survival rifle system. So they're using this coupler on the Air Force pilot ejection seats survival kits. So they have basically a short barrel takedown AR in their survival kit. So this is the system that was adopted by the Air Force. So of course it's the most expensive. It is $400, but you can see it is much more robust. Uses tension levers to lock the upper into the barrel system. It uses a steel guide pin to index. Uses essentially a standard, they did a good job, a standard barrel nut design. So this can be with standard armorer's tools, no special tools required. You can install and remove this. This just threads on, uses an anti-rotation screw, so no Loctite is required. Okay, the unique thing about this system is it uses a custom tapered gas tube. So it uses a gas tube extension sleeve, which goes inside the upper, and it just lives there. That's held in by the barrel nut system. And then they send you a gas tube of your choice, depending on your barrel length, that has been slightly reduced at this end, so that when it indexes into the gas tube extension, it creates a pretty good seal. I thought there was going to be some bleed through issues, but I've fired a bunch of different stuff through it, and it all runs just fine, so I don't think that's an issue. But if you do want to do different barrel extensions or different barrel sets, you have to order the gas tube that corresponds with your gas tube length on your barrel. But that is included with the extra barrel coupling. Extra barrel couplings for this, because the majority of your system is unfortunately attached to the barrel. So additional barrel couplings are $210. So not cheap for each additional barrel. So something to also be aware of if you go with this system and you want to build different barrel lengths and different calibers. It's going to add an extra couple $100 to each barrel. The upper stays the same, but each barrel has to have this coupling with it. So something to know. The assembly of this is also very straightforward. The barrel extension indexes first, unlike the other two where the gas tube must index first. So this, you can, once you just find that barrel, and it can slide in any direction, and then the index pin indexes into the top of the upper and locks in. Then these rather robust latches latch on and locks it in very tight. You can adjust tension on these for slight variances in barrel design or barrel fit. So I think this is probably the most positive return to zero, and is going to give you the best return to zero if you're going to build a semi-precision or precision AR. This is also available in 308 size, so you could build a takedown large platform system, 308, 6.5 Creed, whatever. I like the fact that the anti-rotation notches are built in. You can pretty much use any handguard. This is just a CMMG tension handguard, so it locks on just fine. There's plenty of clearance in the levers, so I don't think you're going to run into handguard issues with this system. I think it's going to pretty much fit any handguard you like. So this is probably the best system to retrofit an existing AR without having to worry about handguards and stuff. None of these systems, as far as I know, are compatible with pistons. So if you have a piston driven rifle, you are out of luck as far as I know, without some modification. So Cry Havoc, it is definitely the most robust system. I think it's probably the best system in the long run. It seems very well thought out. I don't believe that the two-piece gas tube is going to be an issue. It looks pretty robust to me. I like the system a lot. It, of course, is the most expensive by a significant margin over some of the other ones. So, all right, so now I'm going to put all three of these uppers on my 17 design folding lower, so you can see what kind of package you get out of all these systems. I'm a big fan of the 17 design because it's integrated. There's steel where there should be steel. It's aluminum where it should be aluminum. The extension is part of the buffer tube. It's not part of the bolt. So takedown is just like any other AR. Seems the same thing. Seems pretty well thought out. And you can get the lower with the folder built into it already for way less than the price of a lower and a Law Tactical add-on folder. So yep, I'll show you how all three of these come apart and go back together, so you can get an idea of what you're looking at.